Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back here with another daily crypto update. Today we're going to talk about the market bounce and are we still going to move lower? Because, of course, although this bounce is good, right, it's the first one in a while, we would really have to get a confirmation of an exit of this downtrend before we'd be ready to start moving higher again. And we're going to second, but over the past 24 hours, nice little bounce. The bigger cryptocurrencies are up anywhere from 3 to 5%, it seems, and there are even some altcoins that are doing quite well, moving a little bit over 10% even. So definitely a nice little bounce. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. I've been very active on there, giving out a lot of valuable information. I actually predicted the recent drop on there, so I think it's definitely worth checking out. Link to that in the description of this video. And finally, let's talk about some news. CNBC's Brian Kelly mentioned how the current bear market is not a funeral for Bitcoin whatsoever. And that's something that I tend to agree with because, as we know, although cryptocurrencies have been going through a rough patch, right, a bear market, that doesn't mean that they're just going to disappear. And history repeats itself in the markets. In fact, media sources have pronounced and declared Bitcoin dead over 300 times, and as we know, Bitcoin is still up and running. So you have to keep a bigger perspective in these type of examples, and I think that this bear market, the fact that we dropped so low actually provides a really good opportunity looking forward, right? Because if we are going to start moving higher again, we have so much more upside now that we pulled back this much, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So keep in mind, that's just my opinion. That's not financial advice, but this does provide a certain opportunity here in my opinion. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the technical analysis, starting off with Bitcoin. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a bit. Like I said, we are still downtrending as far as the price is concerned and the indicators themselves. However, we are coming up on an attempt at getting out of our downtrend, right? And is this the bottom that we're waiting for? Maybe. We'll have to wait for confirmation. That's really what matters at the end of the day, especially in these types of situations where we've been getting a lot of false signals and everything. So we got to bounce basically off this area here where around 5,800 Satoshis, 5,900 Satoshis, we basically got a bounce right over here off the previous low of this candlestick and the highs of these candlesticks back here, right? So basically, now we got a bounce above this level, and that's where we found some support. We're going to be heading back towards the downtrend line, trying to get an attempt at breaking out of that. Of course, our Bollinger Bands and our middle band are still downtrending. The middle band is in line with our downtrend line, so that does provide a lot of resistance to get out of the downtrend, right? And that's not going to be easy. Is there a possibility of that happening? Of course, but we would really need to wait for a move and a confirmed move above 6,500 before really considering ourselves out of the bearish trend and ready to start making some progress higher, right? So we would really have to wait for a move above 6,500 for that to be considered. And as far as bullish signals, we do have our our MACD that's actually making some progress here. We're uptrending on the histogram, and we're getting our third attempt at a crossover. Now, as you know, the more attempts at a crossover that happen, you tend to actually break through, and the third time is often a charm on the MACD. So we'll have to wait and see, but there would be an opportunity here for potentially getting a break out of the downtrend line and maybe at least consolidating from there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Ethereum, see what's going on. So taking a look at the Ethereum chart, we can see that we got a nice bounce off $450, now completely recovering from that drop. So I think that we are going to be getting an attempt at maybe $500 or the downtrend line over the next couple of weeks. And really what it comes down to is, once again, there is a lot of resistance ahead, but what we want to see for an attempt at a move higher would be a break above $500 and above our downtrend line, right? If we're able to get that, we should be able to move higher or at least consolidate from there. Indicators starting to slow down the drop, which is good. We can see that the RSI got a bit of a double bottom on the 30 line, and we're actually moving higher from there. So this is actually pretty bullish on the RSI indicator and crashing lower. So that's quite a change from what we were experiencing, just a week or two ago. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Litecoin chart. Litecoin experiencing a bit more weakness than Bitcoin and Ethereum. The smaller cryptocurrencies can have a rougher time in these type of situations, but it is attempting a bounce. With that being said, we're not at a very clear bounce area right now. We're just kind of between $70 and $100, but we are finding some support at around $80, which is fine. And we'll see how high we can go. I'm not expecting Litecoin to get back above $100 anytime soon, to be honest, because our middle band is actually dropping below that as we speak, and we have a lot of resistance at $95. So I think it's too early to get a move above $100 no matter what, and that it's going to take several weeks before we're really able to get back above $100 for Litecoin specifically. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Nano. Nano got some bullish news recently with the wallets, the new wallets, but it still ended up dropping below 40,000 Satoshis again due to the market weakness. We found some new support at around 35,000 Satoshis, which is good, and that shows that that's where our current support is short term. But we are still moving lower from our 50,000 Satoshi mark. And the longer we stay above 40,000 or 50,000 Satoshis, the more likely it is that we start moving lower and lower in this range and end up dropping down to 30,000 and then 20,000 Satoshis. You get the idea. So we really want to try to stabilize properly sooner rather than later at this point. We're going to take a look at Ripple and then EOS. So going over the Bittrex chart for Ripple, we can see that we are trying to get back above 50 cents. Currently struggling with that quite a bit. With that being said, it looks like we will get an attempt at a bullish crossover on the MACD. We have a nice little uptrend going on the histogram. This is actually being seen on several cryptos out here, so that's a good sign. And RSI flattening out, it seems like we were stabilizing a bit here for Ripple. Ideally, we want to stabilize right above 50 cents, but we did stabilize in the past right around 50 cents. So, it's a little bit less good, but still showing some stabilization, which is what matters. And similar for Litecoin, I think that we're not going to be able to get back higher than probably much more than 60 cents in the short term. It's going to take a little bit of time due to the middleman still dropping so much. So the best here is that we would be some consolidation at our current levels and just avoiding a drop lower basically. Let's go ahead, take a look at EOS, see what's going on. So EOS, very controversial cryptocurrency as always. You see a lot of bullish sides of the EOS perspective and bearish sides as well. But I'm not going to get into that now. We're going to talk about the technical analysis. We are bouncing nicely off our 13,000 Satoshi level. It was a predicted bounce area, and it's a good thing that we're bouncing here. With that being said, we could still see more downside, right? If we end up dropping back below 13,000 Satoshis, we would probably test our uptrend line over here. Indicators, experienced a very sharp drop, so we're going to need to see those recover a bit more. But I think that we will see, some consolidation here for a while between 13,000 and 15,000 Satoshis. So could be a little bit of an opportunity to build up a base here and potentially avoid a drop lower. Let's go ahead and take a look at NEO, see what's going on. So we're going to go over the Bittrex chart here. And NEO is currently trying to, let's see. So it's in the middle of its range between $20 and $43. So definitely quite a drop here over the past couple of weeks. And struggling to get a positive crossover on any of the indicators, in fact. So it's similar to Litecoin here. It's actually experiencing a little bit more weakness than other cryptocurrencies out there. I can't think of a specific reason, but it is something that should be noticed, right? Because we do have some pretty clear weakness on the NEO chart. Maybe even a bit more than Litecoin. However, the one bullish signal that we do have is that our histogram is actually slowly but surely uptrending. And this could lead to a positive crossover on the indicators. At that point, things would probably look up a bit. But for now, definitely quite a bit of weakness. We would want to try to recover a little bit higher, closer to $40. Let's go ahead, take a look at our next cryptocurrency. That's going to be, let's see, Stellar Lumens. And we're going to see what's going on. So going over the Binance chart for Stellar, we can see that we did drop below our uptrend line. That is quite bearish. With that being said, we got to bounce off 3,000 Satoshis. Now trying to get back above our uptrend line. If we manage to do so, that's going to be great. But at this point, I don't think we're going to end up getting back above our uptrend line. We just crossed back below the 30 line on the RSI. That's quite bearish. And I think that basically what this comes down to is, for now in the short term, we're going to consolidate between 3,000 and 3,500 Satoshis. A move below or above any of those levels is going to set the trend after that. So that's what I'm looking towards at this point. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Lisk. Lisk currently slightly consolidating right below $6.24. Definitely experienced a pretty nasty drop. With that being said, we're starting to see the indicators flattening out a bit, which is basically, telling us that we might see some consolidation here. I think that we will probably come up a little bit higher and probably consolidate around $6.24. Let's go ahead, take a look at Cardano now, see what's going on. So taking a look at the Binance chart, we can see that Cardano, sorry, I need to go over to the Bittrex chart where I have my previous lines drawn out. Going over the Bittrex chart, we can see that Cardano is bouncing off 2,000 Satoshis. That is a good sign. Indicators definitely took a major hit here, but at this point, I think that in the short term, we're going to consolidate between 2,000 and 2,500 Satoshis. Let's take a look at our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update. That's going to be IOTA. And IOTA is actually holding up pretty decently here at around basically $1, right? We didn't end up dropping too much below that. Now we can see our indicators, the MACD, the histogram, the RSI, all coming back higher. So we are still downtrending here, but I think that we have a nice attempt at, basically consolidating in this pretty tight range between $1 and $1.13. We really want to try avoiding a break below $1, because if that ends up happening, right, and we start moving lower in that cent range, things get pretty nasty. With that being said, thanks for watching. See you next time.